everybody. Welcome. I trust you've had a good day and a half of the conference so far. Doug and I, we've had a really good time meeting a lot of you guys yesterday evening, and we're excited about a lot of things that VJ mentioned up to come, particularly Copilot. So today we're going to take just a little bit of time to talk about ourselves, talk about our company, Red Hat, and how we strategically apply automation. So with that, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am a marketing technologist. I've been in the space of marketing technology and operations for nearly 15 years. And believe it or not, a decade of that time has been with Red Hat. So coming up on 10 years with Red Hat. I am a DEI advocate, and kind of what that means is I'm very involved with the employee resource groups at our company. I am the co-captain of the community, the Build community, so I do all the communications for that group. I also have my certificate from eCornell, so very passionate about the DEI space in technology. I am a North Carolinian. We have the beaches, we have the mountains, and we sometimes have the hurricanes. I found out this morning that it's already passed, it's offshore, so I can fly back. Yeah, thank you. And I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 3. I've got a preschooler, she's 4. I've got a school-age child, he is 7. And I've got a bonus son, so my stepson, he's 17, and he just started college also in North Carolina. And then the last fact, if you had dinner with me, you already know, I am a fitness enthusiast. And what that means is if it is not a team sport, I will do it. So I've done yoga, hot yoga, not hot yoga. There is a warm yoga. There's like an 80-degree yoga. I've done that. I've done capoeira. I've done belly dance. I've done CrossFit. I've done Zumba, just lots of things. Right now, I'm really into reformer Pilates plus Zumba. And I shared with the group last night, in the last year, I've taken 155 reformer classes. So that's a little bit about me. I'll hand it over to Doug to talk about himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Doug Alchison. Similar to Gina, I've been a marketing technologist for going on 8 years now. And that journey actually started when I was attending Drexel University in Philadelphia. I walked into an interview for an internship, and they asked me, have you heard of Eloqua before? And I said, no. And they said, can you learn it? And I said, sure. And that has put me on a career-long path so far. I'm an avid reader, writer, and video game player. I've been reading and writing since I can remember, and I've been playing video games as soon as I got my hands on them. And then I'm a former Northeasterner, and so I was raised in New Jersey, moved to Philadelphia, and then down North Carolina, and then Phoenix, and now Florida, where I'm officially chasing an endless summer and avoiding the Northeast winter.
Yeah, and also impacted by the hurricanes.
And I did get to fly out in front of a hurricane. The pilot was like, we're going to fly through the first band of the hurricane. And I was like, that sounds not safe, but here we go.
Yeah, we made it. Okay, so we'll tell you a little bit about our company.
Yeah, so Red Hat, for those who are not aware, is an enterprise IT software company, and we focus on open source technologies, and we operate across a variety of industries. And so globally, we're about 20,000 people, and we operate, I think, out of 105 offices across 40 countries, and we service a variety of customers. And so whether it might be Delta Airlines or BP or even Lockheed Martin, Red Hat provides IT solutions, starting with Red Hat Enterprise Linux and expanding to things like our OpenShift platform and Ansible to help provide enterprise support where it's needed and when it's needed. And then for how we work together within the marketing department, so Gina and I are in the marketing technology and operations department, which kind of sits at the heart between our account-based marketing team and our customer lifecycle marketing team, our regional teams, our brand and communications, our digital experience, and then our global partner ecosystem. And all these teams come together to help us execute our go-to-market strategy across a variety of channels, whether that is going directly via global campaigns, targeting companies regionally, or working with our channel partners to go through our indirect routes. All of it kind of centralizes on the marketing technology stack that we maintain and operate to make sure that we have the right people, process, and technology, which is a saying I've been hearing a lot at this conference. And we're creating the right data to support each of those teams and each of their functions.
Yeah, so like Doug said, we are the heart of marketing. And similar to our opening session keynote with VJ, people, process, and technology really is key in our team. We, I would say back in 2015, we're a small team of 8. And at that time, a lot of things were happening rapidly and changing. And part of being open source culture, if you're not familiar with that, it means that our code is open. So we actually publish our source code, and how we monetize that is that we turn it into something that's enterprise and supported. So open source is in our DNA, and collaboration is really a part of every team. And the teams are getting larger and larger as we continue to grow. The thing that is another thing we really strive to do is to have an inclusive meritocracy, which is a callback to my DEI advocacy. And we really hope that the best idea wins. And so proud to say that a part of a company that is examining what it means for someone to feel inclusion and how that might be felt differently across different audiences. So very collaborative. So as a part of that, back in 2015, 8 of us got together and I said we should meet weekly. It was the analytics group, the lead management group, and the platform owners, and a team of 8. So we fit in one room and we would meet together and we formed what would become the data and technology governance team. And we would talk about what was happening upstream and what was being reported on downstream. We would talk about change requests, even as simple as a field level change. How would that impact the reporting downstream? And at that time, Click, and now we have Tableau. We would talk about projects, and as we got bigger and bigger, we split off into 2 meetings. So we had the data governance sync, and then we had the MTO Gov board, and that was really around platforms, projects, and a lot of compliance in 2018. So we talked about GDPR, how would we implement the things in our technology, what would the impact have, what is the data model? And as we continue to grow and scale, our team is now nearly 80 people, and we still come together on a weekly basis to have these conversations. Our senior director actually joins us sometime to talk about the large projects. We decided to combine both of those 2 meetings, and we just call it the MTO sync, so marketing, tech, and operations. We sync together and really collaborate on those changes. So that collaborative culture combined with the fact that we've had technology since before I joined, so I've been there 10 years. Our marketing automation platform has been in place since 2008, so it predates me. That's a lot of complexity right there. CRM, we use Salesforce, like many of you, also in place since probably even sooner than 2008. We've got tons of customizations. We've got code built in different silos, and we're trying to integrate all of that. And when we looked at trying to modernize our tech landscape, that is really what brought us to Workato. And then I'll have Doug kind of take you through our pilot.
Yeah. And so just to talk through some of the deciding factors that we were looking at when we decided to do an evaluation of the iPaaS space, what Gina mentioned is completely true. We've had technology that's existed from 2008 and onwards, and as that has grown, so is the complexity of managing that MarTech stack. And so our big focus was saying, we want to have interoperability, and we want to have enterprise support. And so when we were working with Workato throughout the pilot process, we really felt that the support, both in terms of just support in building recipes and then also answering questions, and when we need to submit tickets for help, as well as the platform itself and its ability to support our use cases and the uptime that truly provides an enterprise level of support that we felt was very valuable for us and then can meet our use cases. Which, as we move forward into the pilot, the next thing we want to do is align on our automation use cases. And so we wanted to make sure internally that we're very aligned on what we're going to be doing when we brought in Workato or another iPaaS platform. And so we did a lot of collaboration, and we open sourced it. And so we brought in both ourselves and our revenue operations counterparts to make sure that we were all aligned on what type of use cases would we be automating to start, and to make sure that we had the right focus on the right areas, and that we could then prioritize making sure the platforms have the right connectors. Which brings us to our last point, which is the integration catalog. And so, as probably many of you who are Workato users know, they have a wonderful connection catalog that supports a variety of MarTech. And given just the scope of technologies that we're using, I think it's 80 plus pieces of tech at this point. That was something that was a big benefit for us. And so we wanted to make sure that we had those connections in place, and that any use case that could come up, whether we're bringing on a new piece of technology or transforming an existing integration, we had a connection there that we could leverage.
Okay, so we got Workato, and we brought it into our stack, and next came the requests. So I don't know if many of you have been flooded with point requests. People have asked you to automate just a single thing. People are asking what's possible with this new tool, and when we present on it, everyone will send us an email. And they kind of want to know, can you automate this thing for me? So over time, I've kind of developed a way to evaluate projects because of time and capacity constraints. We just are not able to automate everything that everybody requests from the team. So there's up here kind of a lot on this slide, but I'll take you through. There's a organization alignment, there's impact analysis, and then there's an effort assessment. So at the very top, we want to know, requester, stakeholder, your request, is it aligned with our company's goals? Is it aligned with our team's goals or our department's goals? And if the answer is no, if that project still has a direct, and it has to be direct, not indirect, a direct impact to pipeline, that still is highly weighted in our evaluation. Sometimes, depending on the size of your company, the goals are really strategic. They're 3 to 5 years out. You're trying to do something to get you to the next level. So a project may just be something that will impact pipeline, and that's very important to us. One other thing that people may forget, if it's important, run the business work. If it's going to do something that helps you be faster or save capacity, that's still something that we evaluate pretty highly. As I said, our tech stack is pretty dated. Like, we've had it in place for over a decade, so we've got a lot of cleanup efforts constantly. So that's really at the forefront of our mind. So after you kind of ask what the organization alignment is, if the answer is no to all of those questions, at that point, it might just be a good idea. So we were able to tell stakeholders in the past, we're not able to automate your project right now. However, your project is in the backlog. And if the stakeholder wants to strengthen their case for the future, and perhaps we can extend the capacity of our team, we can automate more things. So then after we decide how it's aligned, the next step is the impact analysis. We like to take a look at the impact of the project, whether it's going to be global, regional, for one team, many teams. That in combination with how long the project will actually be in production is a factor. So if you've got a project that has a lifespan of 3 months, it still may not be worth the effort to automate compared to something that will be in production for a number of years. Another thing I talked about a little bit earlier with the run the business work, if the project's going to increase time or save capacity, that is important to us. And then once you kind of go through all the reasons to do a project, I like to have like a gut check moment and ask, well, what would happen if we did not do this project? So it kind of balances out the pros and the cons of a project, and often stakeholders are not going to do that review step. So then once you determine if the project has justifiable return on investment, the last part here is just the effort assessment. Because we are a small team, we need to kind of think through, do we have the capacity to complete the project? Another point that I like to think about is not only the capacity to complete the project, but once it's in production, what is the support model? Is there something that the team will have to do continued maintenance on the project? And then we launch the project. So I want to take you through just really quick an example that did not make it through this automation framework, and then Doug will take you through an example that did. So we had a team in one region, North America, who submitted a request to automate a workflow for them. They had a platform they were using, I believe, Rike, to do some project management, and they asked the team to deploy some automation to help them. When we took a look at the framework and talked to some of our other stakeholders and teams, we realized that the platform was not going to renew. It was going to sunset in 6 months. So right there, the time in production didn't really seem to make sense for us to pick up the project. The other thing is that the project was not only going to would only benefit one team, not even the entire region of North America. Just a single team was using this platform, which is another reason why the platform was not set to renew. So at that point, we were able to go back to the stakeholder and let them know, with the capacity of our team and kind of reviewing it through the framework, it was not a project we were going to be able to automate for them. And they received it pretty well. And then we have got projects that actually made it through the framework, so I'll hand it over to Doug to talk about proof of value.
Yeah, so one of the first things we did when we got Workato implemented is we took a look at our contact upload use case. And so this is a global process that I'm sure many people in market operations, but just in general, are very familiar with, which is as you go to market, you have events that cannot always happen on your domain, whether it be a third-party event that you're sponsoring, or it might be a content syndication that happens off-platform, and then it generates a CSV file that needs to be imported into your market automation platform, and then create a lead in your CRM. And so this was being used across all of Red Hat. It was the main way to get our data in, and so we took it and we're able to kind of bring it down into a time period or a time savings of 30 minutes per upload. So we have a team that's actually doing these uploads, and we wanted to reduce the amount of time that they were spending each time going in and clicking and mapping each field and making sure that they were able to maximize their time for other projects across the business. And then that time saved actually translated out to about 1,750 hours over the year, and that then came to $35,000 of annual time saved. And then for us, one of the big things that we were looking at is also the general process improvements that we were able to put into place around our contact upload process. These might not be visible to all the marketers that we're supporting on a day-to-day basis, but they were a big factor for us. So the technology we're using previously was not able to do graceful error handling. And so by using a recipe, we were able to use the error block to actually help say, hey, this didn't make it through, and here's the reason why, and send a Slack message. Or it might be, hey, these leads purposely were not imported because they were missing some of the key fields that are supposed to be included in an upload file, which is something that would actually take a step off of the people manually validating it and just say, hey, put this file in, and then the recipe will take care of it and let you know what didn't make it through. The other thing we were able to do is actually automate the deletion of PII. It's a lot of spreadsheets that come in, whether you want to have spreadsheets or not, they still exist. And so to be able to automatically delete them after this job has run has been a great time saver for us to make sure, and then we don't have to worry about it. It just happens like that. And then we were also able to increase the actual just processing time from top to bottom. So not only we're saving time by manual input, but the actual time to get this data into our marketing automation platform and out into our CRM has also increased. And then, as I kind of mentioned, the error handling, we're able to validate this data on its way in, and so we do have the responsibility to maintain a marketing contact database that has the data that's needed for our marketers so that they can do segmentation, as well as that the leads that we create have the data that market development teams or strategic development teams need for when they go out and actually call these people and try to sell a product. And then finally, the best part, we were able to minimize our manual touch points across this process, so those that are involved are doing just the bare minimum they need to start the process, and then it's all taken care of from them after that. And so we were able to see a lot of improvements using Workato across the board.
Yes. So that is what we have for you today.